What if feeling lost is exactly what you need in order to be found? One of the things that I've noticed about my journey and that of others is that these seasons of feeling lost or unfamiliar to ourselves is a part of our natural evolution. Now, we give them names like midlife crisis or making the most of my 20s, but rarely are they ever spoken about, in my opinion, with the joy and the reverence that they are entitled to. Today, I want to challenge the idea that feeling lost or losing yourself at any age is inherently negative. I will share my experience on how it feels to be lost, the benefits and challenges of this season, and what will help you most embrace feeling joyfully lost the way that it helped me. And it is my hope by the end of this video that if you need permission to fully embrace a season of feeling lost, not that you need it, but you have mine. My first really big season of feeling lost was in my, early 30s. And I was in a career that I had been in for more than a decade. And I had just started a business. And I was in a happy and fulfilling relationship. And in the span of maybe like 3 to 4 months, and at my own hands, the life, the future that I thought that these 3 things would create for me was completely shattered. I left my job. I went through a really bad breakup. And the only thing that I had left was this really new thing, this new business that I had just created. And the initial impact of those things, in full transparency, was devastating and it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable because I did not have the capacity to be in a season of feeling lost, feeling unfamiliar to myself, and feel safe and excited about what that meant. I had always been a person that had a plan, that found control in life by knowing what my next step was going to be, knowing what my year was going to look like 3 years from then, 5 years from then, having that life plan and having milestone moments and bullet points beneath each one of the action items it's going to take to get there. That was how I lived my life. So to transition from that into a season of nothing is familiar anymore and where do I go from here was actually really scary for me. I'm happy to say that I made it out on the other side, but one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because I was not able to be fully present for that season of evolution, right? Because that's essentially what it is. To lose yourself and to become unfamiliar to yourself gives you the opportunity to evolve, to discover deeper layers about yourself, and to create a life that supports the version of yourself that you discovered during that process. And because being lost and being unfamiliar and switching your life up midlife was never presented to me as something that you should be excited about. It was never stories that were riddled with joy. It was stories that were riddled with heartbreak and hard work and reflection about what you could or should have done differently. And so I didn't have a good relationship with what this very natural part of living life meant. So what do you do when you are sitting in a season of, I know that this chapter has come to an end, but I have no idea what the next one looks like? Or I don't have the capacity to even prepare myself for that season. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the benefits and the challenges of being in a season of loss. Let's start with the challenges. The challenges, number one, is that change is uncomfortable. Because we are creatures of habit, our bodies are built, our nervous system, our brain is built on habit. It's built on familiarity, and deciding to say, I no longer want to be comfortable where I am can be very triggering for the parts of us that feel so safe and secure in what is familiar. The number 2 challenge is that despite our best efforts, we are absolutely impacted by how the people we love think about us, right? How they view us, how they see us, the respect that they hold for us. And we have to weigh, well, what if I decide to walk away from my law career and decide that I want to go do something completely different in the beauty industry? Am I still going to garner the same respect from my loved ones that I garnered when I was a lawyer, right? Something that you kind of have to make peace with within yourself is being willing to be seen as lost and knowing that that does not take away from your inherent value in any way. The benefit, in my opinion, of these seasons of feeling lost or unfamiliar to ourselves, number one, is the opportunity. Because it basically gives you a blank slate. It gives you the opportunity to completely change your life. I often say I'm living a life within a life, but it was because I was willing to be lost, not once, but at least 2 or 3 times up till now in order to be found in this current season. So that has been the greatest benefit that I've gained from that. The other benefit that you get from it is that you get to witness the people who love you in every form of you, right? It's easy to love somebody when you're proud of their accomplishments, when they are most familiar to you, when they are staying the same version of themselves that they've always been to you. But I believe that unconditional love is most revealed when that person comes to you and says, hey, I'm quitting my job as an attorney. I want to go do lashes, right? And then you say, okay, bet, I support you. Let me know how I can support you even more than just telling you that I support you. The other thing is the opportunity to discover more about yourself, to discover layers of yourself that you may not have discovered had you stayed stagnant in the season that had already served its purpose. So being willing to accept feeling lost for a little while can actually help you find yourself even that much more deeply. Now, let's talk about the things that I did to help me navigate this season. So one good example I have from my own personal experience is quitting a job before you have a plan B. It can be incredibly scary. And one of the things that I realized in retrospect was that although my intentions were in the right place, I had not checked to discover if I had the capacity within my nervous system to be able to do that. So it was very triggering for me to lose my primary source of income. And instead of being able to be fully present with just feeling lost and finding myself, I was triggered and worried about financial stability. And so one of the things that I had to do was I had to expand my nervous system's capacity. Well, how do you do that? I used meditation and breath work, and I also cut out media. For some reason, being able to turn off the television and turn off social media and just be with myself, be in my body and feel my feelings, that helped stretch my capacity to be able to be with the discomfort of, hey, I don't know what next year looks like. I don't know what life looks like in 3 years, but I know who I am. The second thing is rooting down into my core belief system, knowing what I believe to be true about life, knowing what my values are. That was my roots. That's my foundation, right? Like that's my anchor to be able to navigate a season where so much other stuff looks unfamiliar to me. The third thing that really helped me navigate this season of feeling lost was to take inventory of my life. Even if I did not make any radical changes initially because I didn't have the capacity to do it, or if I did, it was important for me to understand where this feeling of discontentment was actually coming from. Was it my relationship? Was it my friendships? Was it my financial circumstances? Was it my career? Taking inventory and sitting with every aspect of my life. I'm a big journaler, so I'm going to write it down and I'm going to ask myself, how does this feel in my body? Do I truly feel happy and joyful about this experience? Or am I telling myself that I should? So by ensuring that you have the nervous system capacity to sit and be with discomfort, or building it up if you don't, by identifying what your core beliefs are and your values and rooting yourself in them, and by taking inventory of your life and being radically honest with yourself about what brings you joy and what has served its purpose, you will be in a really good position to walk through a season of feeling lost or unfamiliar to yourself with the joy and reverence that it deserves. So if you are in a season of feeling lost right now, I'd like to leave you with the possibility of excitement. And not just excitement because of my own experience, but also excitement because I know that you have the courage to walk through this journey. I'm excited for the new crops that you'll plant and the harvest that you'll yield. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you feel like this video can help a friend, please share it with them. And I'd like to invite you to join my community by hitting the subscribe button. If there are topics that you want to talk about that I have not discussed yet on my page, send me a message and I'll see you next week.